Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Anthony Abron, and this is it's a little bit different scope than you are quite possibly. Welcome, Ambrosia. Good to see you in the house. Um, welcome. Can you guys hear me clear? Let me know if you can hear me clear. Throw a couple hearts my way, or let me know in the chat that yes, you can hear me. Good deal. Good deal. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Um, before I we get started, I'm gonna ask you guys a favor. I ask of everyone that comes in on the scope. Ask if you could please take the time out to share this scope and invite your friends, invite your followers to be a part of it. I'm a firm believer that um, you could be the conduit to somebody else's breakthrough, and this is what I promise you on this is I have absolutely nothing to sell you, nothing at all. I just want to have a thank you. I appreciate that, Ambrosia. Nothing to share. There's some things that were put on my heart by events today and just things that are happening in my life. And I felt like I've got to get this out and I've got to share it with the world. So, um, a little bit about me. My name is Anthony Abron, affectionately known as the Magnetic Networker, and I am virtual CEO of Be Legendary Incorporated. And we are a digital marketing and branding firm. And we serve business owners who have a message in the marketplace. Again, like I said, I'm not here to sell you anything at all, but I simply wanted to share with you some thoughts that I know that the Creator put on my heart. And I'll start with this. For those that don't know, I I speak to entrepreneurs, I speak to business owners, I speak to people who aspire to reshape their lives. And it wasn't always, I've spoken on stages to thousands of people. I've, shared the stage with influential leaders like Willie Jolly and um, uh, April Franks Hunt and a variety of change agents and global impact leaders in the marketplace. And I've been nationally recognized across the country in direct sales, but it wasn't always like that. In fact, there was a point in my life where things were really, really bad. I was at the lowest of low. And I got a phone call yesterday. I do a lot of prospecting and lead generation within our business, as all businesses should do. You should always be prospecting and generating leads so you could generate sales and help people and whatnot. So I reached out to a young man, and I won't say what the gentleman's name was, but it really it brought things into perspective, the conversation that I had with him. And when I called him up and I said, "Hey, this is Anthony Abron." He says, "Oh my gosh, this is Anthony Abron?" It's like, "Yeah, this is me." He says, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that you're calling me." I was like, "All right." So, I mean, I've listened to everything that you've done. I listened to all your webinars. I listened to all your stuff. He said, "I listened to you. You said something that really impacted my life when you said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." Now, you have to understand something. I hadn't said that for a couple of years. What he said was, "Anthony, I reached back and I found," he said, he had saw some videos that I had created years ago when God was just doing miraculous things. He's still doing miraculous things in my life, but I had, I didn't have a pot to pee in, a hole to pour it through. I was just simply walking through faith. And I put these videos out just kind of expressing. I didn't know where they were going to go. I didn't know what I was going to do. He said he found that when you did your Ford commercial. And for you all that don't know, I did, when I initially stepped out in to find my place in the marketplace, I started out as I kept hearing a call and it said, use your voice, use your voice, use your voice. And I say hearing a call and I hear it, nothing came to me in the middle of the night and like that, but there was a feeling in my spirit that I always felt, right? And I heard it saying, use your voice, use your voice. And so I took it literally and I became a voiceover artist. And once I became a voiceover artist, and I started to put myself out there, I thought that that's how it was going to be for me. Okay, I'm going to be this great voiceover artist. Well, ain't it funny how the creator steps in and, I was afraid when I did that. I was shaking in my boots. But so what happened was I became a voiceover artist, and one of the first clients that I ever landed was a major recording artist, Babyface. But I'll get back to that. So he says, Anthony, I found your recording when you had recorded your Ford commercial. And I was like, wow, okay. And it just really blew me away. So I asked him, I said, how did you find me? He said, you actually wrote a post on a friend of mine's Facebook. And he said that, man, this guy here is sharp. I got to find him. So he began researching me and he went down the rabbit hole. And the rabbit hole led him to other videos that I had done from years ago. And that old video from, 3 years ago impacted his life. And so it just so happened at that time, for whatever reason, I was in a funk. And it seemed like my messages weren't reaching the masses that I really wanted to. In fact, much like right now, there's one person on here, to my knowledge, from my screen, okay? Back then, I was just simply standing in front of a video, just simply recording and then posting it up on YouTube. There was no one, okay? But I did it. And I wondered what type of impact I was having. Years later, at that time, at that place, in that moment. Oh, excuse me, guys. My thing dropped. See, that's something that don't want me to say something, right? You know how that goes. Wait a minute. We're going to fix that right quick. Actually, we're going to hold it. We're going to just hold it. Can you still see me? All right, good. So, what I'm saying is this. So I got that information and it really blew me away and it touched my heart that, and I realized that so many times when we're out in this space as business owners and we're trying to ring our bell, we're trying to make noise, we're trying to attract people to us to understand who we are and that how we can benefit them in the marketplace. Sometimes it will seem like it's nothing. It'll seem like there's echoes. It seems like it's just that all you hear, you call out and there's nothing but an echo coming back. But understand that if it's rooted in the right place, if you know that if you're rooted in the ground and the creator has something for you, know that he never misses his mark. He never, ever misses his mark. It may not come in when you think it will. It may not serve a purpose that you think it is, but understand it's part of a greater plan and a greater purpose. And it was at that moment that I realized that the impact of why he had me to do that. And it brought me back to the beginning points of where I was at when I wrote it, when I spoke it. And I remember it was I was sitting up. It easily was 3 o'clock in the morning, and all my family was asleep. And I had just I had walked away months away from my job. I had a company in transportation and logistics. And I grew sick and tired of being sick and tired of being there. I just knew it wasn't the place where I needed to be. I wasn't serving. I wasn't fulfilled. And I walked away and I had nothing. And I was in a funk of depression. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, and was, everyone was asleep, and I grabbed my laptop and I was going to get on to surf the internet, grab me something from the refrigerator. I was easily 20, 30 pounds overweight. Grab me something from the refrigerator, sit on the couch and start watching some videos, something to take me away from the monotony of where I was at in my life. And it was there that I stumbled across this video. And I always tell people about this. I don't always tell people about this, but I'm sharing this with you guys tonight because I believe that somebody needs to hear this. But I came across Romney Malco has a YouTube channel called Tijuana Jackson, ex-con turned motivational speaker. And I said, okay, this looks funny. This is interesting. Okay, I'm going to sit down here. I'm going to watch this. So I get watching this video, and he's out here and he starts out with these long monologues. He's cussing and he's talking about the comparison between people in prison and how they act and what they do and how they, what they're doing. So he's going into this, and I'm just cracking up. I'm just, I'm thinking I'm going to wake somebody up in the house. And he kept going deeper and deeper on people with their prison mentality, how prisoners act, until I realized he was talking about me. And I stopped. And I hit pause on the computer. And I got up. At the time, my son was 5 years old. And I went to go take him to go potty. And I woke him up and I took him to the bathroom. And as we're standing there and, we're doing our business, that's when he fell back into my arms. And when he fell back in my arms, I realized that my family needs me. And after he finished, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I didn't want to look at myself. And I took him to the bathroom. I tucked him back in. I came back. I went to the bedroom. I tippy-toed past my wife, who was knocked out in the bed. I went to our bathroom. I looked in the mirror. And I said, Anthony, what in the hell are you doing? What in the hell are you doing? And it was right then and there. I said, God, just tell me what you want me to do. And I began to cry. And I just began to just cry. I said, whatever it is, you keep telling me that you want me to speak. You want me to use my voice. I said, okay, I'll do it. And I went back to the living room and I put that video back on. And what he said, write down your goals. And although I had done it before, I took out my pen and pad and I began to write down my goals. And it just so happened that a couple weeks earlier, I had cut some raw demos at my friend's studios of some voiceovers. And something told me to send them to my pastor. So I knew he had a theater background, so I sent him to him. I sent him to anybody. And so he replied back to me. He sent me an email back and said, Anthony, oh my gosh, these are amazing. They're a little rough, but these are amazing. He said, just so happens that right now I'm planning a brand new podcast for our church, and I'm scripting it out right now, writing the scripts. I would love for your voice, for you to be the voice for these voiceovers. I said, what? So I came in, and I practiced with him. He became my pastor, became for a short period of time, became my coach. And he coached me through getting my voice correct. And I recorded those voiceovers. And my church became my very first client. And to this day, if you go to theexchangechurch.org, theexchangechurch.org, every podcast, the intro and the outro of all of Pastor Trey's sermons are me. And we're talking about he's impacted thousands of people that have reached all across the globe. And because I surrendered and I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll use my voice. I'll do it. And so when I think about that young man, you know, it hit me. It's like just a ton of bricks. Like, I know that some of you out there, you really want success really bad. You do. And you know there are a lot of people who are out there who'll sell you anything just to make a buck. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not no pastor, but I really don't give a damn to sell you anything. I just want you to understand that you have to walk in faith. You got to just listen to the voice. Whatever that voice is that's calling you out, listen to it and trust it. For them. My very next thing I did, I went out and I started soliciting to all the radio stations in the neighborhood, all around the neighborhood. And one person listened to me. And that was Steve Savage, the radio director. Faces got well. Long story short, Babyface became my very first client, and my voice was heard all across the state of Texas. And it seemed from there, the offers just kept rolling in. People wanted to be with me, wanted me to be their voiceover for their business and keep speaking. So I kept speaking and speaking and speaking. So I say, where am I going with this? Again, that young man, what if I hadn't taken the steps? What if I hadn't jumped? And I appreciate the love. What if I hadn't decided to speak? Where would I still be? Many of you've got the calling inside of you. And you want to do something. You want to be a greater impact. The world needs you. And I understand the world needed me. The world needed me to hear. Just like this platform. Somebody somewhere across the world will stumble across this before it's gone. And you will need this. And understand, I was there. I was struggling. I was out. It was hard. It was tough. I didn't know what to do. I was crying. It was hitting me. But I believed and I walked in faith. I believed. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And maybe you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, understand it. That's a message to your heart and to your soul saying, get the hell up and get out. You got to go do something. There's something greater that your soul is calling to. And you got to listen to it. You got to listen to it. Fast forward that video that he saw of me. I got invited to a party accidentally. Accidentally got invited to a party for some friends of mine for a birthday party. And it just so happened there was a gentleman there, name of Mark Gill. And he says, you know what? You got a great look. I'm like, he said, you got a great look. You should be on television. I said, man, whatever. Accidentally. Yeah. Accidentally. That's what I said. I accidentally got invited to this party. It happened. I got a text message inviting me to a birthday party. I was like, okay, cool. I'll go. And, you know, usually the guys were about 10 years younger than me, but I felt compelled to go. I ran into Mark and he says, you got a great look. He says, man, you ought to be in television. You ought to be on television. You got a great voice. You're in radio? I said, well, I do voiceovers. I have my card. He said, but you really ought to be in television. He says, man, I'm going to turn you on to my agent. I'm like, whatever. Okay. But I was like, okay, great. He says, no, seriously. Well, it just so happened that Mark is a well-respected talent scout, and he's a business manager. He's a manager for musicians. And he actually got me a direct connection with his agent. Agent says, you know what, Anthony, you do have a great look, and we do want to work with you. And I was signed to one of the oldest and most prestigious acting agencies in Austin, Texas. And I began going on auditions. So audition after audition after audition, I kept getting nothing. I kept going these auditions, get nothing. We're talking about every month, it was easily 5, 6, 7 auditions. Nothing. Why in the hell am I doing this? Nothing. Then one day, I remember like it was yesterday, I walked inside this one audition. And they said, just work like, he said, they tell you how to dress sometimes. They said, dress like a truck driver, dress like you work in an oil field, dress like a construction worker. Well, it just so happened that I used to be a penny per mile truck driver. So that was easy. I put on my work boots, I put on my Dickies, I put on my plaid shirt, and I walked in there and I stood in line. They asked me, who am I? I said, I'm Anthony Abron. They said, what's your experience with heavy duty, working in the oil field? And I told them, I used to drive trucks, work construction. I did oil field work. That was me. I kind of didn't care. I was like, yeah, I used to do all that. Well, they liked it. They hired me. And the next day, my very first commercial I ever got was with Ford Motor Company. And that commercial debuted during the Super Bowl. Yeah. Talk about the grace of God. How could I have saw this going back to when I was sitting on my couch? I was depressed and I was out of it and I didn't know. How could I have seen this? Sometimes you can't see the path. You don't know where he's going to lead you. You don't know where the journey's going to go. Again, I couldn't have mapped this all out. I couldn't have said, okay, this is step 1, step 2, step 3 of how I want to be. I couldn't have done it. There's no way. And so the day I did that commercial, I remember I asked the guy to, yes, he is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So I asked the guy to film a video. And if you want to search and see it, just look up Be Legendary Incorporated on YouTube. And it's there. And I just filmed this video of how I was feeling at the moment. I couldn't believe it. And he saw that. And other people have seen it. So you can be the breakthrough. From breadcrumbs to breakthroughs, he is amazing. He's the one that, snow, you think it's snowing and it's all bad. It's just the snow is nothing but rain touched by God. That's all it is. Okay? And don't look at it as bad. Don't look at the rain as bad. The sun does come out. And I just want to encourage you all. Everyone is going to see this. You here, Ambrose, I appreciate you sticking through this and other individuals who will come through and will see the replay. Just encourage you. There's more that's coming out here, that's happening. That again, it's not about me. It's about you, and just knowing that. Know who you tap to. Your alignment always precedes your assignment. Absolutely, your alignment precedes your assignment. And what that means is, when they say birds of a feather flock together, you have to be mindful of who you plug into, who you listen to, who you decide to do business with, who you decide to learn from, who you decide. It makes a difference because you're feeding off of that energy of those individuals. And I always say, sow good seeds, do good work. Yes, reap, then teach to repeat. You have to sow the seeds. But understand, if you go to sow a seed, do you understand that scientifically, if you took 2 seeds and you put them in the ground, and that both of the seeds, were the same type, let's say there were 2 acorns, and you put them in the ground at the same time, same amount of water, same amount of moisture, no 2 seeds erupt at the same time. No 2 seeds erupt and sprout at the same time. They don't. They erupt and sprout when they are ready. So you've got to continue to keep sowing your seeds, watering it, doing good work, being consistent, being persistent, staying true, and eventually it will erupt. So that's all I have to say for you guys today. Thank you for taking the time out to listen to this. I just had to get it off my chest. Again, like I told you, I just wanted to get it off my chest and share with someone. It does change. The tough times are just a season, and when they pass, either you're coming out of a season or you're coming out of a storm or you're going into a storm, and it's evolution. It's a cycle. So thank you for being here. Again, Anthony Abron. If you want to connect with me, feel free to follow the link in my profile. It gets you to my Magnetic Networking Live community, which is on LinkedIn, where I primarily operate in the business realm. And you can also connect with me on Facebook if you like. And I'm just going to leave you with this. Love God, live fearless, and be free. That's the truth. All right. Thank you. You have a fantastic night, and happy scoping.